GM.
Hey, good morning.
See, people are starting to come into the room. What's going on, Blue?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. We're gonna play a little music. We'll just vibe out a little bit here. You guys might recognize this one. Starts a little slow. Intense.
Very intense.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
All is well. Well, it's good to be here on the Noun Square with the Soapbox. We got SharkDAO as our special guest today, hosting Blue, who just had a prop passed unanimously by the Noun DAO. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We love to see it. So, Kryptasha, go ahead and take it away.
Great. Well, I want to thank the Noun O'Clock and for getting us on the Soapbox for sure. This is going to be very exciting. We've been really excited about this ever since we heard of it. So we'll kind of get started. I decided to have Blue on here, or Xanadu, or PW Nealon, whichever we want to call him, because it passed.
That's own Elon, because he's going to own Elon by beating him to Mars.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and I noticed, all the sharks voted for it too, so it's going to be exciting to have on. I guess we'll start with some of the SharkDAO stuff going on. We still have the contest that's available, and I'll try to pin that at the top here, because we had the art contest for our shark PFP project. I guess that's the closest thing that I should call it. And we've had a lot of artists already come in and do some pixel work. So I'll put that up at the top here, so everyone can look at that. Any pixel artists in the crowd, and that's still going on. We're slowly getting more information, getting the technicalities down, I think, is the main thing. The art is doing just fine on that project. It's just getting everything ready. But I'm sorry. I'd like to talk to Blue first and kind of, if you want to go over your proposal a little bit, but I like the idea of the episode and the CC0 Nouns Toolkit. That stood out to me a lot because a lot of people have been talking about that. But how do you feel now that your proposal's passed?
Well, thanks for having us. Steven's on here also. He's kind of my partner in crime in this whole thing, and the one that introduced me to the Nouns DAO a few months back. But yeah, I think I'm feeling insanely awesome about it. Way better than I would have imagined, because it's like one thing to kind of get this amazing resource and have this project to do, but I think the biggest surprise, even though in hindsight it's not much of a surprise, is that the community of all the people that kind of helped us along the way and then just interacted with us, from the Nouns DAO and all sort of the derivatives, has been so awesome. It's just like such a cool community of people, good spirit, just kind of working towards fun, positive creations, which is, just makes everything so much more exciting. because a big part of this is, you know, building out this nouns world. So maybe I'll just do a quick recap of what the proposal is, which is, like you said, there's two parts. There's the Xanadu episode, which is kind of the driving force behind the creation of what will essentially be like a slice of the nouns universe, right, in 3D, in a real-time sort of world. So in order for Blu to kind of, from a story perspective, to go into the nouns planet and have interactions, we've got to create all that stuff. So it'll be fun to kind of like infuse story into the creation of bringing like the noun city to life, and some of the other nouns locations that are going to be part of the story. But also just bringing the characters to life, you know, giving them personalities. You know, are we going to, you know, really draw from the owners of the nouns that we decide to use in the story? Or are we going to just kind of like do something in between? So there's a lot of fun opportunities in the creation process. But so, yeah, the episode kind of is driving the creation of a big slice of the nouns world. And then once we've kind of created it, we're going to package it all up in this really cool, easy to use repository, CC0, so that anybody can download this Unreal Engine project. It's free game engine. Project will obviously be free. And in it will be all the stuff that we created, and the ability to kind of like, and all the characters will be animatable using like motion capture. Everything will be already brought to life, like the city, the lighting, it'll be super cinematic. All the cameras will be in there from the episode, the audio, the animation. So it'll be a cool learning experience for people to step into this world if they haven't already. But it's also just going to be a powerful tool for creating more nouns content in the future, whether it's cinematic stuff, maybe somebody wants to just puppet one of the nouns and create like a nouns news show on YouTube, and they just motion capture the noun. So it'll be super high quality, kind of like, you know, it's all stuff derived from what I've learned on making Xanadu that I'm going to infuse into this. And I'm putting together the team that I worked with for 5 years on the game that a VR game that I was building before Xanadu. So it's going to be a pretty talented team of people kind of building all this stuff and creating the design for all this stuff. So I have high hopes that it's going to be pretty awesome visually, pretty awesome just from a story perspective. And then, you know, it'll end up in the hands of the community as to like, you know, how it grows and where it goes from there creatively.
Yeah, 'cause seeing Blu interact, because I've seen a few of the promos and episodes, it really does feel like a glimpse into what interactions could be in the metaverse, especially when it comes to, like you said, like starting kind of a news or like interviews. Because I saw the side by side of like you're filming yourself and then you turn into like a different character. It looks so fun and definitely something worth utilizing. I mean, it is so cool for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty addicting. That's the thing I'm excited to see people get into this, because when I first started puppeting some of our game characters, which is when I learned how to do all this stuff, it was just like an addicting, fun thing, because it's like your inner 12-year-old comes out, and you just it just brings up all this like fun, exciting, adventuresome sort of like vibes. So and the nouns kind of have their own unique version of that. So I'm personally curious to kind of start puppeting them and see what comes through, but just seeing people get into what I've had so much fun doing is also going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because one of the reasons I thought of you is because in SharkDAO we've been kind of veering toward focusing on a lot of the media side. I think a lot of us have been interested in that. So obviously that's where my personal interest goes, but I think SharkDAO is into the more media side of nouns too. So it's cool for you to have the toolkit to come along after, and I can't wait to see the episode as well, because it just seems like a very freeing thing, and it opens up the possibilities even more. CC0 does that a lot already, but then seeing the technology, being able to add whatever, I mean, it's going to be pretty big. But yeah.
Yeah. The hope is that the episode will inspire kind of like, story threads. It'll bring people into the world and educate them, like people outside of the Nouns universe or community. But even within the creators, it's like just seeing some of these characters take on a personality or some story threads that might evolve in our episode. People could just riff off of that, or at least be inspired by it. And even just, thinking about SharkDAO, like, one of the things that makes the Nouns universe so awesome is all the derivative projects and the various DAOs that are kind of like basing itself in that. And so representing all of that within the Nouns world is like super critical. So having like a little Nouns world, having like a SharkDAO, whether it's like a few blocks of the city that's very pronounced, like SharkDAO, little Nouns, like all these various things, like we want to infuse all that awesomeness into the world so that, everybody that's kind of been a part of this whole thing can step into it and already have like building blocks for their own section, and, who knows, you could build out more of that stuff or just kind of utilize what's there. I mean, I know it's pretty exciting, right? Because there's just so many facets to this whole thing that everywhere you look, there's opportunities for utilizing this in an interesting and new way,
Has to be an aquarium, doesn't it, Cryptasha?
It should, right?
Well, actually, I would love to invite you to SharkDAO Bay. It's a really great time. Now number 2, Pina, we got really fortunate because that was the first noun that SharkDAO had, and they had a great island plot. And then Bruce came in and he was able to clear some of the stuff down. And then we started planting the seeds. Morpheus was planting, pills around the island. And now we have this like beautiful place. We just kind of hang out. We sip, island drinks. We talk about nounish stuff. There's sharks in the water, but that's a good thing. It's a great place to hang out.
I love it. Yeah, I would love that. I want to get more immersed in all of this so that I can infuse it into this world. So hanging out in Sharks Bay sounds awesome. Visualizing like how I can take all this stuff. The idea that I don't know who threw that out there, Joshua. The aquarium, like a skyscraper that's like a giant aquarium, just gets me excited. So yeah, definitely, man. Would love that.
I think that was Toady who requested the aquarium.
Good job, Toady. I love it.
We got to make sure there's some toads in there. For sure we need a area for the toads to be able to relax and hang.
Oh, for sure.
Just some lily pads on the top of the aquarium. That's all we need. We're easy.
Toads are easy.
So we got the SharkDAO Bay. We got the Noun Square. Obviously, it'll be great if we make the Noun Square. And you kind of mentioned the Nouncil, the Hall of the Nouncil or something like that. And we have the Nouns Museum, which is a beautiful place. Do you have any other like worlds that you're thinking of that maybe there's things that make sense that we could help kind of collab on?
I mean, I would say what I want to try to do is just make a long list of everything, if possible. I don't know how vast the nouns world has grown, but if it's possible to get like everything into a list in some way, because in my mind there isn't anything that's like off limits or that we wouldn't want to infuse if possible. Obviously, there might be a production, threshold as far as getting it all in there, but it's really just like throwing it all on a table and saying, okay, how can we rearrange, how can we organize this in a way and make it happen. But yeah, I mean, just even looking at from props themselves, small props, big props, to even like the big stuff, I feel like there's an opportunity to get it all in there, but I don't want to, I don't want to get shot if there's like production thresholds that might.
I think it's like the environment seems to be throw out as many ideas as you want, but just understand that the creator gets to pick and choose.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be some story. Whether even if we were able to get a lot of representation into the city itself, there's going to be probably featured stuff in the episode. and that'll be grounded in the story thread. So there might, that's something that's going to develop over the next month or two as the script gets fleshed out. And that'll be something too that, I can kind of, there may be opportunities to like put that stuff out to you guys in the community. And then maybe people, maybe there's like, oh, if you threw this into there, that would like help, that would be cool. So that'll be something that we can kind of look at as we move forward too.
I think one of the things that we're also going to try to do is just to get a bunch of reference images or different concept art from people, just to kind of understand how they imagine a noun's kind of world. We already started doing this with a few folks, like Gremplin was using Midjourney, and he just sent us a whole folder of kind of different images of what he was imagining. So I think the ability of leaning into some of these like AI tools just to kind of create concept art and like turn what's in your head into something that's a little bit tangible, and aggregating that from everyone, I think would be super cool to have this like master file of 100 200 different photos, and then kind of combining and figuring out what that stylistic or visual representation actually is.
That's fire.
That's going to be nice.
You know what would be maybe useful, Cryptasha, if I can suggest something to Blue? Have you heard of Nouncil before, Blue? I think you mentioned something about Nouncil earlier, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So Nouncil is a group of builders within Nouns who don't necessarily own Nouns, but we together govern 14 nouns currently, and tons of extensions and derivatives and noun offshoots are represented in there. So if you want some ideas or some help, that's a good place to sort of just drop yourself into in the Discord, and I'm sure you could find lots of people who'd be interested to help you with making sure you include as many of the nounish offshoots as possible in the city.
Yep, love it. Thank you, man. That's exactly what I need. Awesome.
Yeah, that's true, because that becomes kind of the intersection of everything. There are sharks in there. There's a lot of different people hanging out in there. That's cool. Yeah, and we've been working on obviously like the concept of Shark Island, because that's the name of our project. And we have the Sharks Bay, and I think a lot of us have liked the idea of seeing that visualized for some time now. So it's really exciting for a lot of us to maybe just to keep brainstorming upon it and then have a way to get there. It's very neat.
Yeah, the other thing to mention is like one of the really cool factors in this is there's a lot of work that's going to go into creating the style of like the environments, right? Like there's just like going to be some kind of style that we land on, and once that recipe is kind of figured out, then and if assuming that you guys like that aesthetic, using that recipe to expand. So let's say something doesn't get built or something new comes out of the SharkDAO that you guys are excited about and want to have like in a 3D space, you can just kind of draw from that recipe, and we'll try to like document it as a part of our big guidebook as to like, okay, if you're going to create a new nouns extension environment, these are kind of some of the rules to try to follow to keep it into the theme of everything. So, there's always the chance of just kind of like building on to whatever you guys want as new things arise, using that style.
Yeah, definitely.
To quickly like add on that, I think like beyond the visual style itself, I think it also just helps like philosophically, because one of the things that we really want to do is actually capture the entire spirit of what's happening in the nouns community, and then kind of merge that with this fictional world. But I think when you're kind of taking inspiration from like little actions that are happening in real life, just like this call or what has happened in Discord or even past proposals or different kind of landmarks in nouns history, and you're able to kind of represent them in this, I think that's where you get this really kind of cool blend in more of an immersion than you've ever kind of had before. So as people kind of build on to that, that's the kind of hope is that as kind of nouns grows and different kind of things happen and different community beats happen, that future builders will want to actually add that into the toolkit, just to kind of expand the scope and the breadth of everything and what these kind of like quote unquote virtual worlds can be. Because we definitely want to kind of merge them with reality as much as we can.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Yeah, because the CC0 toolkit is people have been talking about how to kind of contribute to something like that anyway. So, and again, it's going to help only. And then, so Stephen, you were the one that introduced what Corey would be to nouns. Is that right?
Yeah, I found Corey's channel, I mean, quite a while ago, maybe when he was first kind of starting up Blu Xanadu. And I think like anyone who watches the content, you immediately kind of get really hooked in, like, holy shit, what is this? It's really fascinating. You recognize it's the future and the kind of cutting edge of things. And I've been involved in the kind of like Web3 NFT space for a bit now. And I thought there was this kind of perfect marriage. So when I did meet up with Corey, I kind of brought up the idea of nouns, and he quickly grasped what it was, why it was cool, and also like the simplicity of it. I think that's like both the beauty of nouns, but also just like how much synergies there would be, because we kind of view nouns as also this thing on the cutting edge within the crypto community. It's big but still relatively niche. We definitely all kind of see the power of it in the future, and it'll continue to grow. So to see these kind of two things on the cutting edge of like pop culture in their own niche and bringing them together, I think is really kind of a perfect alignment, and can really create some cool results.
Yeah, because you guys jumped in right here. It's really interesting to see people that have so much talent coming in and getting in on the ground floor. It's really cool to see. And if anybody hasn't seen some of the graphics, we have a few posts pinned above with videos too, so you can check those out because they're very impressive. Yeah, definitely. And then yeah, so the Unreal Engine, I noticed you guys use that, and I've seen that on certain YouTube videos, like going over video games. And I know it's kind of the future. I mean, can you go over what exactly Unreal Engine 5 is?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So Unreal Engine 5 is the latest iteration of the Unreal Engine, which is created by Epic Games. They make like Fortnite. I'm sure most everybody knows all this. But they've been in the business of making games for decades. And man, what a freaking awesome company. I mean, they're kind of like if there was a corporation, they're not even really a corporation because they're still privately owned, but there's a big company that had like nounish values, it would be them. They've been super supportive of everything I've been doing for years, even before Xanadu with our game. They support their community in a huge way. They've done a lot in the game industry to kind of like level, get the creators more of their own money, right? They kind of pioneered their own game store so that they were only taking like, I might botch this, but like 12% versus like 30% of Steam and all these other stores, because they want the community, the game developers to make as much as they can. So, and they've put out millions of dollars. They have a dev grant or a mega grant they put out every year, like millions of dollars, just similar to the nouns proposal. People submit a proposal, they want to do something with Unreal Engine, and they get just grant money. So their engine is completely for free, for the most part. I think there's a caveat with, like, if you're making a huge game and you start to make like over $1 million or something like that, then they get like 5%, which is incredible given that industry. But for all the stuff we're talking about for doing VTubing or creating linear content or stuff, you can make zillions of dollars off of whatever you make using this toolkit, and it's all free. There's no caveats there. So basically, it's what it is. It becomes a platform, super amazing creative platform. It's like been the highlight of my life to be using Unreal for the last, I don't even know, like so 8, 9 years maybe, because it's such a powerful tool. Being in real time, and being able to render in real time and animate in real time and do light in real time, all these things it just makes creation in 3D space super, super fun. And they keep evolving this game engine faster than I can keep up, which has never happened in history. Like, I'm always waiting for the next version for new tools and stuff I need, but they're so fast, and the way they're building this engine out, and with the teams that are behind it, it's pretty remarkable. And I think it's unlike any other piece of software I've ever used in so many ways. So it's a great platform to kind of build all this stuff in. It's a great company that's behind it all. And, it's one of those things that is at the right time where, we're stepping into this metaverse, we're stepping into this, like all this potential with like AI and 3D worlds and things like that. And I think that the Unreal Engine is going to be the heart and soul of like a lot of this stuff in the future, right? There's really only one other game engine that's a competitor, which is Unity, which is also a good game engine. I'm not sure what the costs are involved with Unity. I've not used it in a long time, but so anyway, yeah, it's a great platform. It's super. They have a lot of educational stuff. So like they have a huge educational team that they're growing to kind of just make it easy for people to get into this engine and start to learn it. Unreal 5 was a big step towards making it more simple. I say simple, just making it more consumer friendly, because before that it's came from an internal game engine, right? Unreal Engine was like used internally at Epic to build their own games, so it was never meant to be like from the get-go like a public-facing tool. So you can get away with a lot. You can make it. It's not so much like user-friendly, let's say, in the early days. But they've been working really hard to make it, more software like we're used to, and it's super powerful. And for what we're doing, I think, if you're new to the Unreal Engine and kind of want to just play around with all the stuff that we're going to make, there's a lot of learning tutorials on YouTube, on their site. And that's most of the
Corey,
stuff that comes to mind. Yep.
do you think that Unreal would be interested in creating educational content around the creation of this episode?
It's funny that you brought that up, because, and I don't want to jinx it, but at 12:30, basically in a half an hour, I'm going to be talking to the director of education at Epic for exactly that reason. Because I think that there's a cool opportunity for them and us and this project to get involved in a bunch of ways. Some of the ways I'm not going to mention right now, because I want to talk to them, because it might involve more root level stuff. But yes, absolutely, I think that's a possibility, and
We drop
we'll
an
soon
alpha
see.
on the Noun Square Soapbox. You heard it
I know.
first, folks.
I know. Don't. I can't jinx it. But yeah, I do think that. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because
We're
it's
going
been
with
on my
positive
mind.
affirmations and speaking
Yes.
it into existence.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the Unreal Engine does seem synergistic with Nouns, Metaverse, Web3. So yeah, I'll be sending out good thoughts on that one for sure.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. Wanted to jump in, but I had requested for the mic to ask a question, but I think Blu has talked about it. I wanted to ask, like, imagine I don't know anything about Unreal Engine. I've never even coded a game, but then there's this beautiful CC0 toolkit that you have created. Are you going to make some like tutorials on how to use it? How like some educational stuff for someone who's completely basic? I'm just because I've been looking at Unreal Engine. I think this would give me a chance, so maybe some of my friends a chance to play with it. Maybe it's something pre-built. I think it's a good idea. I don't know. Do you have like an idea of how someone who's never done this before can take that CC0 toolkit and make something amazing with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big part of the toolkit is going to be the creation of kind of like a big guidebook or like a Bible on how to use it, and also corresponding tutorials. And they're going to be aimed at like, somebody that's just getting going, but so there'll be like quick start things like, hey, if you don't know the Unreal Engine at all, watch these few tutorials from Epic just to kind of learn the basics of the engine, and then follow this tutorial, the one we'll make, that'll kind of just get you started with like, hey, if you have a webcam and you want to try to puppet a noun, this is how you do it, and it'll be pointed right at, somebody who's never really done any of this stuff before. But again, there's still going to be a few tutorials that are probably you'll want to watch just to get familiar with the engine itself, like how to install it, how to load it up and open up a map, And so we're not going to get into that level of basic understanding, but we will provide as a part of our sort of guide, what tutorials to look at first if you're just starting out from zero. And if you already know the Unreal Engine a little bit, then just jump right into this, and this is how you do it. Now, there's, even into the cinematic stuff, like all on the advanced side, what I've been doing for a few years is this kind of cinematic Xanadu content, which is in the Unreal Engine, setting up cameras and how to do good lighting. So I'm going to get into a little bit of that stuff too, so for people that will either evolve to this point or already can jump in and want to create more cinematic type nouns content, I'll have a bit of a guide for them as well as to like, here's what we have and here's how you can kind of make new stuff with it. So, it's a big, exciting thing because a lot of people in the Xanadu world have been wanting me to do like tutorials and stuff on how to do these things. And this becomes like a great opportunity, which I never would have had before. Like I don't have enough time. I have to kind of keep Xanadu going and growing. I have to spend all my time making episodes. But this, what Noun Square and what you guys have done for us is given me the time and the resources to actually start to build something from scratch and then show how to do it along the way. So it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and this is an opportunity for that. So yeah, you should be able to. And in fact, we're going to have like a beta of all this stuff in this process. So we'll probably have people sign up that that aren't using the Unreal Engine at all for anything, and just say, hey, go through this stuff, this beta version of this stuff, and let us know, what are the pain points? What aren't we telling you that you need to know? And hopefully it'll help us, shape the tutorials and whatnot. By the time we launch them officially, it'll have been vetted, a bit.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there will be contests to create content using the stuff that you make, but maybe there will.
I like it. There should be, right? I mean, it seems like a fun opportunity. Give like a little theme and then just let people run wild and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
Maybe we like partner with SharkDAO and just have like Blu telling all sorts of funny jokes, or any other character, like some noun telling jokes. We like set up like a little nightclub, like they're in like a little nightclub.
A brick wall.
Yeah.
That's funny. There's actually going to be a nightclub scene in this episode where it all kicks off. I'm not sure if that nightclub is actually going to be a CCO thing or if I'm going to end up downloading. It depends on timing, but it would be kind of a fun environment for people to play around with because it'll exist outside of the Nouns planet. But TBD.
Nice. I will suppose there would in that planet be entertainment too, so it'd be funny to see like little TV shows and things like that pop up along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you imagine like Noun Square in kind of a lieu of Times Square, and you have these huge monitors and shows that can be happening on there, like there will be a lot of fun places to kind of just create like entertaining little like skits or whatever the theme of the contest would be.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. Yeah, this is one of the coolest proposals I've seen in a long time. So I guess I want to see if anybody has any questions for you two as well, because I don't want to hold you up too long. See if anyone in the audience or around here has anything else. And I don't know if Tony or Josh has anything too.
I do have one more thing I would love to kind of explore more with you. What you mentioned was the file extensions and the interoperability of the formats, and you mentioned USD, and so that got me searching on the internet, and I found that it was actually Pixar who created that so that they could accurately describe the visual images that they were creating across, distributed networks. And so I think that's really interesting, and something that people who are interested in this space should probably be thinking about. So maybe any insight on that would be fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a brand new thing when it comes to, I mean, Pixar has had it around for a long time, and it's been slowly adopted within the VFX industry. But it's just now starting to become like, hey, maybe this is going to be the format of the metaverse coming up, because there's got to be something that's open source that everyone can kind of build on, and that's gotten a lot of traction just in the last, like, I'd almost for sure the last year, but almost the last 6 months. So I think it's going to be an evolving thing how we end up potentially looking at it for this toolkit, because right now they're building more and more USD functionality into Unreal. It's gonna be an education for me also, kind of like dipping into that world and seeing like, okay, what are the advantages if we take the time and resources to kind of convert stuff into that format, and or maybe Unreal can automatically just export to USD at some point, and then people can go into the toolkit and just kind of pump out stuff as they need. But it's kind of, for me, it's kind of a question of like, what are people wanting to do, and what's the hangups, and does USD solve that? Because if people end up adopting Unreal for instance, for the most part, for all this Nouns expansion or creation stuff, then USD doesn't really buy anything because it's already all in the engine. But let's say people are like, you know what, we really want to use Unity to make stuff. And if, right now, if you wanted to do that, you would probably just need like the FBX files. And then that's not going to translate with anything shader wise. It's not going to there's the animation is probably a lot of it's going to be baked in Unreal. So that's going to be kind of a challenge to get out. So FBX is not an ideal format for exchanging much more than like the model and maybe some textures. You can exchange animation, but it's a bit of a process. Whereas like USD represents, hey, we can kind of take all this awesome stuff in its current form and then put that into Unity, for example. But I kind of think that reality is a little ways away, just because, like I said, integrating USD is fairly new, and I don't even know where Unity is, what their stance is, if they've, and I'm just using them as an example, obviously. But I imagine a lot of higher end 3D guys might want to like bring all these assets into like Cinema 4D or Houdini or Maya and make something using their renderer and stuff. To me, that's not like the future in a sense, and I don't want people to like throw stones at me for saying that. But I think the future is with all this stuff and content creation on this level, which I consider kind of like, like small teams, basically creator community or creator economy style, right? And it's been fast for me to do Xanadu because of the real-time engine. Without that, if I did it traditionally, it would never have happened. It'd be impossible. So like going back into Maya or doing stuff with a traditional renderer just doesn't seem like it's the way to go for this type of content. So again, sort of like, that's why I feel like the Unreal Engine is a great basis, or some other game engine would be a great basis. And if USD ends up being a bridge there, then, I think it would just be a matter of like converting the assets. And maybe that doesn't happen for another year. And then maybe there's a new proposal that's like, hey, let's take this whole repository, get it set up in USD so that X, Y, and Z people can use it in XYZ way that, hasn't been established today, but might come to light in the future,
Totally. No, I think that, that conversation is really technical, but it illustrates something that happens in Nouns a lot, where if you dive into any one of these disciplines, you can find, really great takes and people who are passionate about the subject and thinking about it deeply. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I love these kinds of questions because it just gets me thinking too, and realizing what's on other people's minds. So
I want to thank both of you for coming here today on this soapbox too, because I kind of reached out thinking I know you're both probably really busy, especially with the proposal, and I'm glad you made the time to talk to us about everything.
yeah, well, I definitely want to take the chance to thank you guys, all you guys, for voting for this project and supporting it in all the ways that you have. I mean, even if it didn't pass, I would be happy having just kind of interface with everybody and stepping into this world. So thank you guys so much, and it'll be an awesome next, I don't know, 7 months of building all this stuff out and seeing it come to life. So I'm excited to see that, and then just, you know, hang out with you guys, figure out more noun awesomeness, and get it all in there.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate you guys having us on. And I think we're going to probably get a channel set up in the Nouns Discord for the proposal. So if anyone wants to follow up on any of the things that we kind of chatted about, from what we should include in the world, or kind of giving us different images or concept art, that'll probably be the main way to do that. But feel free to reach out if anyone wants to help out as well.
That's great. That's awesome. I'm so excited to see how this grows and everything builds, and see what everyone's ideas are.
Yep, definitely. Same here.
And I do want to welcome Blu and Steven to the SharkDAO. You guys can check your wallets. There's some Shark tokens in there, so you can come into the channel and you can talk to anybody and join the convo. So thank you for spending this time with us today.
Awesome, man. I love it. Thank you guys. That's super awesome.
Nice. We'll see you in there.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Nice chatting with you again, Blu. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, I'm glad we got the chance to do that on this first soapbox here. I was gonna kind of go over a few things that SharkDAO was kind of doing. We're mostly working on. I'm working on the podcast, and we have Marxist Millionaire working on the comic Shark Street, and we've been kind of putting those. We're just building those along the way, because we made the proposal, but we're just kind of figuring out how else we can do that. I don't have a lot of sharks up here to kind of like bounce the information off of, so I'm glad we started with that interview there. I'm not sure what other people are doing on their soapboxes, but that's kind of what I have planned. And yeah.
Maybe can I take a couple minutes to just talk about Soapbox and what our vision is here? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to thank the Sharks for coming on today. The idea behind Soapbox is that there are so many communities in the Nouniverse, like Shark, like Food Nouns, Little Nouns, etc., where there's these awesome active communities who love nouns and who are working on all these amazing projects, like Cryptasha just said. And we wanted to sort of make the Noun Square into a common town square type situation where anyone from the Nouniverse can just sort of show up, drag their soapbox in, as it were, jump up and start speaking to their community, and leverage our network, and hopefully cross-pollinate with the people who are coming out to our 9 o'clock show every day, and cross-pollinate with the other communities as well who are running soapboxes. So this program's only about a week old, and so far it's been super fun. We've had Food Nouns on a couple times. We've had Little Nouns on a couple times, Little Sisters, and now SharkDAO. This is your first one, so welcome to the Soapbox. I hope you guys found it useful, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to grow the program together and grow, proliferate the nouns together as well.
I love it. Absolutely. And yeah, we'd love to get on here and get some people that are working on smaller projects within SharkDAO, because there's a lot of passion within it. So this is going to be very fun. And I love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be super high pressure either. This is your spot now. You've lodged it, you've reserved it. So every week you want to pull up here with as many or as few sharks as you want and talk about whatever you want. This is your space. So look forward to seeing what you guys do with it.
Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, great. I guess what we'll do here is we could wrap it up today, and then I'm excited to keep this going, and see you guys next week, and we'll have some fun things planned.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.